Hello, viewers of my stream. It will be me, myself, and I on this stream. Just I. You know how it goes. I stream. I voice characters terribly. And that's all riddles. Anyway, continuing with the great Ace Attorney, who we assume is great. Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kind of left off in the middle of trial last time. Yesterday, when I played. Let's continue with the trial and see if maybe we might be able to finish the trial tonight, maybe? I have no idea how long this trial is supposed to be, because we didn't get a recess in it, so it just kind of kept going. So I had to force a recess in the trial, because I needed to stop, because that went on for like 3 hours yesterday. So, alright, so where did we leave off yesterday here? So we got the witnesses, we turned the jury around to continue the trial, and we discovered that Mr. Fairprice? Is that his name? I don't remember correctly. Mr. Fairprice is also indebted to the defendant, Mr. McGilded. And there may be some shenanigans going on with Beppo, the carriage driver, overcharging his customers for riding the carriage. We're about to begin a new bit of cross-examination here. So let's begin. Oh, we got the intense music, meaning we're probably getting close to the end here. So Mr. Fairprice is... There's blood on both hands. He's very determined in saying there's blood on both hands. Okay. Despite the fact that we have gloves that only have blood on one hand. Right. However... Oh, well, I didn't voice him, sorry, I forgot. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. Okay, may not have actually seen the stabbing. May not have seen the stabbing. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. Mr. First, okay, he saw the knife and saw both hands with blood. Okay, so they are collaborating each other here. Hands with blood, so... I didn't actually see anything myself, not until I heard that scream. Yeah, we established that you didn't see anything. Didn't see anything until the scream. Okay. Didn't see anything until the scream. Okay. Anyway, the fact remains. There can't have been anyone else inside the carriage, or we all would have seen. He said, claims there couldn't have been anyone else in the carriage. Anyone else in carriage. And that's it. Okay. Well, lo and behold, in truth of the fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord. But honestly... Ah, there was no one else inside that carriage. And the man's hands were covered in blood. Nom 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 nom. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. I will gladly cross-examine these buffoons. Okay, well, let me just... I want to review my evidence here again real quick here. So the autopsy report. He was stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife while journeying on the bus, and he died from internal bleeding. Okay. There's a picture of the scene. He's stabbed in the abdomen, kind of like right under the breastbone, actually. I'd like to say. I will say it doesn't seem like there's a lot of blood in this photograph. And I'm kind of wondering how the blood got into the seat. Did he bleed through his butt? I'm trying to figure out how the blood got on the chair, got on the seat here. It could be just a trivial detail. Gloves. There's blood on the right-hand glove, not on the left hand. Nothing else about that. Carriage, knife. It's like a dagger. We assume it has an M on it. Could be a W. We're not 100% certain on that. And the debtor's ledger. Can we open this back up again? Why is it closed? To make sure there's like nothing else here that I missed. Don't think so. Alright. Bruce Fairplay's name is in the debtor's ledger. That is the carriage. The only other thing about the carriage was the compartment under the opposite seats, which I'm sure will come into play at some point. I just don't know if this is the time. So we gotta press for more information here, so press away. No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw. But why? I mean, I'm trying to assume at this point that maybe he did actually see somebody with blood on both hands. But the question is was it actually the defendant? I'm going to assume it probably wasn't. Because the defendant had the gloves. So it could not have been the defendant. It had to be somebody else. Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily on the accused fingers. We shall see about that. However, I suppose...
Hold it!
You didn't actually see the moment of the stabbing. Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. But... crying out loud, we all know that no one else could possibly have done it. I was just... trying to save us all some time. Well, please don't try to save us time. You need to be accurate. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? I'll stop saying the guinea pig joke. Had you hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? That's not entirely... not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derbies. That all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend, that's a sure thing. So he has a gambling problem. A little guinea or 10? I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? Hold it! You definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands. Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilded's gloves had any signs of blood on it. That's right. Well, the thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves. That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands. This is puzzling indeed. That's actually a rather important note. I'm going to make a note of that. The police say there was no actual blood on his hands. There's no blood on defendant's hands. Actual hands, not the gloves. This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. You didn't see anything. Yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what it said before, sir. I'm very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and as I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right, either, is it? No, sir, I saw nothing at all. Now you're saying you saw nothing. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? That's irrelevant. Ryunosuke, that's just irrelevant. Oh, please. You didn't even see that? Oh, my Japanese humor's failing. It was so cold that night, you see. All I could do to keep it warm from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was severely frozen solid. Sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Bravo! The fact remains.
Hold it!
This is the last statement. And everything you saw in the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. Interesting, that is important. The cabin was locked. The cabin was locked. Okay. It was locked. That's right, and it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down. I was glaring, long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unless they were directly underneath you. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about those two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? Well, they would not have been able to see inside the special compartment. I'm gonna say they might not have been able to from where they were sitting. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight and the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. In the wood, I mean. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that the potential extra passenger could have been situated? I would say over here.
Take that!
Right underneath them. Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Ah. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Ah!
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? Actually, we can't, because we don't know who the suspect is yet. I really have no idea who the suspect is at this point. I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I don't really know, actually. Because I don't think the suspect has really revealed himself yet. But I'm gonna say it because I don't really know. I have literally no idea. But as a proud citizen of the Japanese Empire, you will look to the sky and walk on, making sure all signs of tears are gone. Go on. This isn't just a case of going on. This isn't just a case of going on, Miss Susato. Alright then, I'll go on. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. It does not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn this trial in my favor. That night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... Okay. The only way I think this could work is if it was Magnus, who was in the seat underneath them. And our mystery person was the actual person sitting next to the victim. That's the only way I think this can work. So let's go with
Take that!
that. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of that's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hollow chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Also, I have an entire box full of chalices, so don't worry, I have plenty to smash. Lord Van Zeeks. People talk of those tiny islands in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to be racist? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
And that premise could be faulty. But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, counsel? Well, the hands. The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary. Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But they didn't see his face. They stated that already. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both chins were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. Did you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Ah. Maybe he couldn't notice. He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGill to testify or not? Let me think about this for a moment. I need to clear my throat. Generally in most cases, it's not a good idea to have your defendant take the stand. Just from my limited knowledge of legalese. But on the other hand, I don't really know how this trial can go forward without more testimony. And getting it from the defendant is one way to continue things. So I'm gonna say... let's do it. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Well, begad, no. It is not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. Truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. I told you to keep me mouth shut. Tell us what, Mr. McGilded. The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true. Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... Nani? No, Magnus McGillard. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so am I, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when we were taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was... Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she done it. They'd have hauled her into the courtroom just like myself. But we were trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That, I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw it before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Excuse me? Ah! Fire! There's a fire! Look! Someone's trying to get away! Cough's no use, cough! Can't see what is going on here. Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. Well, that was sudden. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Oh, now we get our break. I was like 40 minutes away from the break yesterday, but that was still like a little too long. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I managed to find out what happened. Somebody set off a fart bomb in the courtroom. It was really smelly and smoky. Oh wait, no, that's not it. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded anyway? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. And what's that? The 20 pence. Oh, well, I thought it was the Beppo overcharge fund. According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo. He took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Unless she was a stowaway. Counsel for the defense. Kindly proceeding to the courtroom. Trial will commence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Soon enough. Yes! Yes! Soon enough. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which prevailed proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army! What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? Ahem, if I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place? Why she tried to boat like that? It is all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. It'd be nice, but that's not the way things work in Ace Attorney. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Okay, so the defendant sat in back and slept. Sat in back and slept. And then, bigger! A loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. Okay, then he woke up from a loud noise. Loud noise and a scream, okay. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Okay. So he sat the victim up. Sat the victim up on seats. Then I turned around to find out where that scream had come from. Bless my soul, what did I find? I turned to see where a scream came from. There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Small child, rolled up, hiding. And that's it. Okay. Okay. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather of the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? That's exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the fifth passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Let's just, press. That's the best one we can do. Alright, let me review his statements here. So, he sat in the back and he slept. Then he woke up from a loud noise and a scream. He saw the victim on the floor, sat them up into the seat, and then he turned around to see where the scream came from, and then he saw a child curled up, hiding. Alright, so there's two statements I think we should get more information from right away. That he sat the victim up on seats, but it didn't mention the victim was stabbed and bleeding. He probably should have, mentioned that. And then he saw a child curl up and hiding. Like, hiding where? Were they on the seat? Were they inside the hidden compartment? Like, why did he not see the child next to him when he woke up? Like, those sort of things, Important details we should know about. We'll just press everything and see what we get.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty and there was no one on the roof deck either. Alright, so when he was on, nobody else was there. No one else present when he boarded. You were the first passenger, as it were, I see. Aye, and that's why I took the backside as I did. It is the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. Just how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, it is the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say, and a scream. Aye, that's right. And how can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? Well now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. But when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream. Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. It was from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. Alright, so the scream was in cabin. Okay. Wasn't from outside. So I feel like left on the floor.
Hold it!
You set him up. The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. You wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? It is common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Ah, Lord Zeeks. Now why would that be? To wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them. Some would even see me dead. So I do try, where all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There are some details I want to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. And then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and a little bit of this.
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. In the hidden compartment. Good gracious. Under your backside. And when I lifted the seat on which I've been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course, the whole bus was submitted as evidence. This will be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. Well, if you say so. No. I mean, I already know about the hidden compartment. We already saw that. Oh wait, there is blood on the floor. I see it. I didn't see that before. This is a storage compartment. There's nothing in here. So, wasn't there stuff in there before? There was stuff in there before. Where did that stuff go? Something doesn't seem right here. I can't put my finger on what it is. There were things in there before. Why is it empty now? Something fishy's going on. And that's when I found her. There's a challenge I'll put up in the corner. Alright, found child in compartment.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself. Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overacting this. Still no. I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite, so I could have a wee chinwag with her. Seat opposite. That's right, I'm just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I need to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, you must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. But why did I see the girl with blood on her hands? That is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps for this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. Nani? And this girl here, a petty thief? Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. She has a gun. Oh, dang. She has a gun. Why does she have a gun in the courtroom? How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point of that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner so she knocked the gent. Go on. Now what's in your heads, isn't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to... No, wait. That was unnecessary. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what is I do with these singers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I've got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in the bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Do not wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. It's alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in the case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony if you please. And no firing your smoke gun in the court, please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. Okay, another testimony. We love testimony. Gina. Okay, let's call it Gina. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. Okay. Snuck into carriage before. Was it a right old waste of time? I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. Okay, let's skip that here. Waste of time, nothing to show for it. So I guess you didn't steal anything. Waste of time, no theft. Let's put it that way. I'll tell you, you can see a blind man. You can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. So it was dark in the compartment that is not light. Okay, thank you for making that apparent. And after a while I hear this loud bang. It was jumping on me skin. I did. The scream just came out. Heard a bang. Heard a bang and screamed. It's because of that this swell found me. Yep, he helped me get away, mind. Alright, so Defendant found her. And let her go. Okay. I'm curious about this bang. Because nobody else has mentioned the bang up till now. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis simplicity in myself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you spoke is underneath the seat, I presume. Yes. It does appear not just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, no wee lass was stuck in there. Because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah. So you see, that's why I left the last boat. I knew that the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. And I couldn't live with myself, her young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for doubting you, sir. Innocent. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Hey, the jury's all on my side now. On my side. Saints alive! The other side of my head is on fire now. All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty. Now, does the prosecution have the same right to a summation examination, though, I wonder? Mr. Naruhodo, this... well, it must mean... it must mean what? We don't really have the truth yet, though, so we're not done yet. That we're victorious. Well, technically, if this were like the American court system, this would be the point where, like, yep, the defendant is acquitted. Because now we have tons of reasonable doubt about the crime. And the case is done. Finito, done. But of course, because this is Ace Attorney, we can't stop until we actually find the actual culprit. Until then, our defendant is supposedly still guilty. Because those are the rules in the Ace Attorney universe. We've won. Are you sure?
Objection!
What the... If the sight of my iron shield Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. Enjoying my boot. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion? What is that? The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as a witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good lord. The evidence has been tampered with. Yeah, he does have a point there, because there was stuff in there before, and now it's gone. So, where did that stuff go? In order to corroborate Mr. McGillicud's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Nani? Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. And I concur. Well, my Nipponese friend. Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. Oh, this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that low compartment under the seat in the omnibus? We know it wasn't empty. Just go with the truth. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. As far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. Are you sure, counsel? Be West. What are you saying now, you daft doll? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. How would you say something to compromise his position? I'm here in pursuit of the truth. And usually in pursuit of the truth, my defendant will be acquitted. That's usually the way these games work. Usually. But the goal is to pursue the truth. That is my goal. To solve the mystery. And we must ascertain the truth as to why this stuff isn't missing. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. This is not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then. A fellow's memory is a curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. But their cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest to admit that you might have been mistaken? No, I'm pretty certain there was stuff in there. Why do I feel like something's not right here? Why was that stuff so important? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild's rules state that the omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Flippo isn't that irresponsible. The mighty leading fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Okay, back to guilty, I guess. Alright. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers, nothing but cowards, a lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick, of course it's a trick. Quite so. I must concur here. And the tide's turning back the other way. With calm, calculating reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. We haven't gotten to the complete truth yet, though. We're still working our way towards that. Yes, but every time in a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. Yes, both sides of my head are now very equally warmed. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Alright, let's just press for more information here.
Hold it!
So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run. Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of me spending joy and making a few bob, eh? Nice of an idea, isn't it? I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. That makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up a little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making it 20 to which the cabman testified. And 1 little sweatgrace riding for free. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before its last run, see? So I just want to slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there. Sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out, so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems you reached beyond that line of inquiry. Continue.
Hold it!
A waste of time. Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own, and the God permits at least me some time. I beg your pardon. Did you say God permit? Oh yeah. Well, that's what my kind call it. You say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it? Only that night. This code was set on me in a seat from the start. He didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin? Yeah? Right, mister? To be sure, to be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So as Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all. Not a job. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. And then I kinda have butchers at who's gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can never look. See, I get under it, and it's plus the other one, see? So most of the time, passengers plan themselves opposite. For some reason that night, this Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Alton's choice. Why didn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open, then? Say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out there on her. Yeah, nothing else for it. Alright, so what was this bang? When you say a loud bang, you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. Then I felt the cushion over me get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab the victim, could it not? Well, go. Did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had quick butchers when I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting with the bloke who'd fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilda's account, of course. But then, the fellow suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late. Then, I should never have risked looking.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and set me down in the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah? The bloke had a knife in his guts, he was still bleeding. And the carriage loafed to bits and ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both me and hands got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passenger saw. Okay, so that explains that. Kind of, I guess. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilda for a while, is that correct? Lonnie fell over her. Got blood on hands, okay. He asked me some stuff. He wanted me to know me name and what I was up to in that. And then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want anyone to see me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see what you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury have decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief, shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we could sense the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Okay, so we need to present some evidence here. So there has to be something contradictory here. Let me look at my evidence here. Let's see what we got. Alright, so he's had her over here. Victim is here. People on top saw the victim and her. While the defendant was over here. Oh, they're saying something else. I wasn't even reading that. I'm about for a clown to rooftop, so she wants to be seen here. Woman come out of that scene of problem. Women is close to her. Practical, aren't they? Let's see here. I'm not really sure where the contradiction is. Because I clearly had to present some kind of evidence. I just don't know what. Maybe... Since she's a thief, why didn't she try to steal the knife? Because the knife is valuable. Like, maybe that. But I'm not sure how to, tie that into the testimony. Although Naruhodo did seem to have a feeling about this piece of testimony.
Hold it!
Press this again. Alright, I'm just gonna have to save the game and try presenting something, because this is only a hunch. I really don't know if this will work. All I have is a hunch here.
Objection!
Nope, that wasn't it. Nope. I know, that's not it. Oh. I still don't know what the contradiction is. I don't know what to present here. Because none of it sounds incorrect to me. Ugh. Game, give me a fucking bone here.
Hold it!
See, this is the problem. There's... the game has some logic here that I just can't see. Sometimes you get into this part where in Ace Attorney games where they have a line of logic, but it's like so vague and obtuse. And this is one of those moments.
Hold it!
I have no idea where the contradiction is. Because everything sounds reasonable. And it doesn't seem like any of my evidence has an issue with any of it, so...
Well,
Oh, wait, oh... Okay, now you did something.
excuse me.
You didn't do that before. Dang it. Is something wrong here, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. It was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate in myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm so scared of the dark now. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade. Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was an Irishman snoring. A bit jabbers, no need to tell the whole world of me boilers, you old scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? Add it to the testimony, please. Because that's my bone. That's my bone. My lord. I believe that's the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless. Miss Gina Lestrade, You will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. Always. Always a good move. Straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring. I hear was snoring. Could only hear snoring? Would she have heard something else? Is there any chance she would have heard something else? Let's press it.
Hold it!
So you were trained to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I couldn't just push the cushion up and out of butchers to see what was what. But then, when I saw the swell getting on, I got my head down so it didn't notice me. And Mr. McGill sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. You... Yeah, would you add me either? What a mug. And all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him indeed, see? But would he? Not likely. Though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. He never heard the door open while he was asleep. Interesting. Never heard the door open. Door open after Defendant came in. So that would imply the defendant and the victim came in at the same time. Because that's the only way I can swear that. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to markets, knowing like old Hoggy was. Seemed like he had something out there. We'll press again and try and get him. Do anything to draw from that, I wonder? Actually, you know what? Let's go with that. Because if she says she never heard the doors open after he came in, that doesn't explain how the victim got in there. So let's see where that line of questioning goes here. Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Huh? At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zeeks realized it too. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think. There's something else she should have heard. Oh, damn it. I didn't mean to do that. I clicked A to progress the text, and I didn't mean to click that. Damn it. I didn't even see what the other choices were. Damn it, game. I didn't mean to do that. On a particular sound that Mr. Strahd could not have failed to hear on the night in question. Maybe this is the right choice. I don't know. I hope it's the right choice. A sound very clearly explained by the following piece of evidence. I really wish I knew what those other choices were. Damn it. I thought the text was just continuing, that's why I pressed A again. I didn't... The damn menu popped up so fast, I didn't even realize it was there. Shit. Because the contradiction is that she didn't hear the door open, so the victim couldn't have gotten in. But I don't think any of this evidence really shows that. Okay, maybe I can point to the door in the carriage. Maybe that will work. I want to present the door. I didn't press the right button. That's right. Go back.
Take that!
It would seem phantoms are at work again. This time in my Nipponese friend's ears. I think her no sound apparent to me, and oh, damn it. Mrs. Shram, while she was hanging the omnibus that night. Nothing but the sound of Mr. McGill snoring, I think. Show me what the choices were this time. There's something else she should have heard. Could she have heard a person? What person could she have heard? She should have heard the victim enter the cabin, I would say. Lord, allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Mr. Strahd could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person, the victim.
Take that!
Yeah, that was it. Thrice fired Mason. Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Order! Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person to board the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got out while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. That was it? Not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that was what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own, sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I listened for, wasn't it? Waiting for the swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Oh. We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Ah. Yes. This petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeeks. Yes. He knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? It makes no sense whatsoever. And this girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. Old lady. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman, I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than sublurious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. Miss Naruto, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Abaddon? This carnage is perfect. Knife tastes so good. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruto, the way this is going. I know. We can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilda's innocence. The judge will rule, and we'll have lost. I guess we don't get to do a second summation examination, do we? Or do we? I don't know. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
Hold it! Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? Counsel? I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my education. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? He went in with the defendant. And there's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Another entrance? No. He was in there already. No, she would have seen him. He was put there after he died? How? These are not the choices I would be going with, but I would guess saying that he entered along with the defendant probably would have ensured my defendant is guilty, so maybe that's not the best assumption to make. Let me think about this for a moment here. Hold on. Okay. Alright, let's review what we have here. I want to recall what the other witnesses said here, just to confirm if they actually saw the victim enter the carriage. Okay, no one else inside the carriage. Okay, that was the jury. That was information about. Few customers, the victim and defendant sat next to each other. Okay, that was Mr. Fair Play. He saw Gina and the victim next to each other. That's what he saw. And then he says he saw Gina stab the victim, which we know is probably bullshit. Then Mr. First screamed, and Beppo's testimony was bullshit. Let's see, no one else. That was the jury. Let's see. Beppo says there were 4 passengers. Something else. The cabin was locked, and no one else could have gotten in there. But yeah, I'm still thinking the victim and the defendant entered at the same time. That's really the only thing I can think of that would, answer that question. But I don't know which of those options would reference that. He didn't sound back asleep. Of course, the defendant says there was no one else present when he boarded, so unless he's lying about that, how else could the victim have gotten in there? He woke up from a loud noise. Still don't quite know what the loud noise was. And that's about all I got. Okay, yeah, we'll just save here. Could there have been another way into the cabin? Let me examine this again. It looked like there was a door on the other side. Well, this is... okay, this is not a door. Alright, there's no door handle there. Are we sure the skylight can't be opened? Lamps on cabin, bridge because it looks like there's a latch right there. Doesn't appear to be handling a catch. So we suppose it can't be opened from the inside of the cabin at least. But what if it could be opened from the outside? That's what I'm wondering. Because it looks like there's a lock on the outside, but I can't really examine it. Yeah, that makes sense. It had to be opened. Somebody stabbed the dude, they dropped him in here, that's why he was on the floor. That was the sound everybody heard. So he was dropped in here from the skylight. So the people on the roof are like bullshitting. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is all here to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other only has windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't a door. That isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for a court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? Right here.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say, the skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost had me lost for words. However...
Objection!
Objection. The skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addled brain theory? Well... For one, the victim's body was found directly underneath the skylight. And there was a loud noise indicating he probably fell. Probably from a good height. That's my reasoning here. Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained, but not the correct way. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger. No. Yes, it has, but... would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact? Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Unless they're all lying. Well, yes, that's true, but... might the humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded. To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified before said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof. You mean the ones who stuck the knife in the man were... Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? You rudder! He said, you rudder! An animation, what? What is that? Are you pretending to ride a horse? What are you doing? This is a flaming outrage. I have a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. She'll give you a shinner in a minute, he said. And so will I. Mr. Fairplay, you're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. I'm a mad hatter, you could say. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts, it's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... yummy. Nom nom. I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right. I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel. Order, order, order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Oh, it's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zieks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know it was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are you wasting time for? Get them to testify. Damn it, this knife is stuck again. Dang. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or the other. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. We have vocals. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? Spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord, where are you? I can't. Where is the sound coming from? What direction am I supposed to face? You will take the stand again and make another form of testimony. In reference to the incident, to the indictment brought, if I can talk here, brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I'm so confused, I don't know what direction to face here. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Alright, more testimony. We were the only two people up on that roof deck. Dead or alive, I can swear to that. Okay. Says they were the only people up top. Does that include the cabman? If anything, what happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? Okay, would have noticed something. Unless you had a reason to omit it. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. Okay, so it states they had no reason to kill the victim. They had no reason to kill the victim. Unless he wanted to frame the defendant. The Skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. Couldn't have opened the Skylight. Or could you have? We will find out here. If you're so sure the victim fell through the Skylight, where's your proof? Why don't you want me to prove it? There's to prove it fell through Skylight. Okay. Okay. I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another. What? Eh? According to the investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Huh. Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trail is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense. Over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, press. So in no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck. Absolutely not, Dickon. No question about it, he said. None at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin, talking with this man here. Is this true, Mr. McGildet? Dear me, my lord. The risk of repeating yourself. I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off in sight almost immediately. That's an outright lie. Without doubt you were engaged in... Let me stop you there, fella, and ask. Do you have any evidence at all? Ah. It is all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. Ah, I saw you with my own eyes. This is going so well. If anything can happen, we're...
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus. At past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark. Perhaps too dark to see clearly? Is this some kind of a lark? Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly. Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. If you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it, because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm very sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, it was a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. That's hardly surprising. Seeing things? Seeing things? I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. You! Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, it is only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. I don't know the first thing about the victim.
Hold it!
So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before? Oh, Lummy, no! Not once, never. He'd never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim, either. That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. Though the man did have a hat. A poorly sewn together hat, much like the one you're wearing. No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us had the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were inside the cabin.
Excuse me.
Something to add to that? Mr. McGilded. Yes, counsel. What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection? Is that right now? I wonder. What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It's been too long, so it has. Yeah. If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching it, is it not? Your repayment date? I beg your pardon. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? A sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another. Ah. And young Miss First. Me, sir? Well, what do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? And that there top hat sliding about on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm willing to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers, such as Thrice-Fired Mason. Ah. There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord. Oh, this, you mean? Yes, the hat. I just pointed the hat out. I can't help thinking that this poor fellow's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Ah, now, see, there's a connection. I that it is. So it seemed the brickmaker was a customer of yours. What sort of customer, I'd wager you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods? No, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellows here have the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please, don't let me, little interruption, hold up the proceedings. Hat hunter, we got an achievement.
Hold it!
Someone had that. possible connection. Hat maker. Are you quite certain about that? That the Skylight was shut the entire time? I'm going to lose my block of you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag of you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on that night. So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break through it. Still, no. But it wasn't broken, was it? So... What? You're just looking at the size of the thing, you understand? Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. Why are you bringing that up? This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the Skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as a rogue, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? No, oh no, sir. The point is, the Skylight can't be opened. I tried when I was inside that cabinet. Shame.
Excuse me.
You have something to add? Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade. It opens. The Skylight. That is what you were talking about, right? Don't shoot anyone. Don't shoot things. All them Skylights open dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon. That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of the drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out of my ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't top it off the bus and leg it. So what I did was I used the Skylight, opened that catch, and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them Skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The Skylight opens from the roof deck. As I thought, yes. Bailiff. Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify that this witness's claims. Aha. Ah. Oh, my hat. See? Thank you for demonstrating that to us. That's what I wanted to know. Order! 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 So it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The Skylight opens. And from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo. This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So, the Skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. I'm a bit composed, Skylight. Where's your proof? So the Skylight was fastened shut before. But now the catch has been undone, we should be able to open it. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. Some pressure incidents, that's not good for us. Let's go back inside. Oh, there's blood on the thing. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Why to kick someone you like through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? Ah. Ah. Well, what is it? Look, just here. Look at this. That's, without question, it's blood. Why would there be a bloodstain here? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? There's one frame when it's open. Thank you. That's what I need to know. If you're so sure, where's your proof? Oh, there's my proof right there. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. Ah, you can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof. Here, in this courtroom. Counsel? My lord, I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. The, blood, that's right here. Oh, I didn't press the present button.
Got it!
By Jupiter! Is that blood? Ah. This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No. My defendant should be acquitted now. We have proved he could not have been the killer. I think beyond the reasonable doubt at this point. Odor.
Hold it!
But the blood could have been sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. Not unless the skylight was open. And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient. Let's keep in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But, there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the giant really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? is all too plain if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped on a fair height right there, so it is. What? No. But it can't be. It's all... Lies! My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? Yes, he is acquitted. Beyond doubt here at this point. I believe we can. Yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So, they thought they could pull the rules over my eyes, did they? Damn it, this soft wood at this table will keep me my life stuck. I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Well, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful card couldn't have done such a thing. On 3 then, everyone. 1, 2... all at once. 3.
Objection!
Oh, come on, man. Party pooper. A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh? And what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. Under what fucking grounds? What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed. Oh, is he gonna claim that... I know what he's going with. That the evidence was tampered with already, so it shows it could have been tampered with still yet by that. Yeah, okay. The evidence is... So basically, if that is the case, if that is what he is going with, then the entire carriage as a piece of evidence should be thrown out now. He can't use it for evidence anymore. And to be fair, the evidence has been tampered with, and therefore it cannot be admissible anymore. That's just like basic forensics there right now, so it's like it's not admissible anymore. So yes, he probably does have a point here. But the thing is, we don't know if the bloodstain was there before or not, so it's...
Objection!
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
Now, is it fresh blood or is it old blood? I think that would be the deciding factor here. You should be able to tell if the blood's been there for a while. I mean, if it looks like it's been there for a while, then it's like... okay, yeah, we can make a safe assumption that it existed before the evidence was tampered with. Just saying. I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety that no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. But... are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was... fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court has been in session... What? Nani? What a babbler. I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGillid, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper or the Bailey. Mr. McGilded. I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You are very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut tut, Lord Van Zieks. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on Skylight didn't exist, you say? But the views will cast your minds back. Is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? Well, to be fair, everyone was chased out of the courtroom by a smoke bomb. And we already have proof that the carriage was tampered with in that time frame somehow. So, yeah. It's possible. It's possible it could have been tampered with. But it feels kind of unlikely that somebody would have found some blood. You just happened to smear on that in the time frame everybody was gone, so where did the blood come from? Where'd it come from? I need to clear my throat again. It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time that the court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think... Technically, it could have been possible. Because we already know the carriage was tampered with. So in pursuit of the truth, I will say, yes, it could have been possible. I will give him this. I will give him this bone. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. The truth. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friends suggest. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh. Good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly. the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. What is going on? Here, Mr. Monroe, cover your face. It could be toxic smoke. I know so. Better don't secure the omnibus. General emergency reset balance room. Okay. You already saw this. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless Goga? A feckless Golger? You're supposed to be defending me. It's a wicked plot. It's a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies, such as, to start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zeeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is a result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I don't think I noticed anything else out of the ordinary about it. Or that would have changed. To be fair, I didn't look on the back of it. I don't know if the Phoenix Wright sign is still there. So, I don't know. I mean, usually in these cases, the game is going to be like, yes, I have an inkling and an idea, but in this case, I really don't think there is anything. Guess I'll take another look at it. I don't think anything else has changed on this. Yeah, the Phoenix Wright sign is still there. I'm looking like really carefully here. Is there anything else that would be of interest here? Not seeing anything. Taking a look inside. Open the thing. I can't think of anything else. I have no idea. If I'm honest, I don't remember what I examined when I was in that omnibus. That's not the question, not to the answer I thought we. That's not the question I thought I was answering. Can't verify this either way. My lord, at this moment in time, the defense can point out one other inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. Okay. What? I'm very curious what you were talking about, Susato. What? Miss Susato, what are you doing? I examined the omnibus review, don't forget. There's something that seems out of place compared to how the carriage looked originally. That's what we need to identify now. What the devil's name are you doing to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you better start watching your back.
Objection!
Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception anymore. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? I don't really know. A mark? I don't remember seeing a mark anywhere. But I guess there has to be one somewhere. Marker, where's the mark? Oh, right here. Is this it? I didn't even notice that. I thought that was just part of the thing. Ah. That's a poster for the Great Exception New 6 months. There has a lot of focus being run on Crystal Tower. CT. Crystal Tower? Oh, Crystal Tower is under construction already. I believe people all over London. I mean, I think this is the mark. Maybe that was not there before? I don't remember. Let me check the other poster here. I don't think there's anything on the other poster. CT. That's the only thing I could consider to be a mark.
Got it!
I think it must be this mark here. If you mean the mark of sweat around your collar, that has certainly gained prominence over the recourse of proceedings. It's not? Then what the hell is it? You know, Susato, if you just fucking point out what it is... Oh my god. I don't know what mark they're talking about. I don't see anything here. Is that the latch or is that a mark there? I can't tell. Can't find anything out of place here. Yeah, I don't... I can't tell if that's part of the latch mechanism or that's a mark up there. I assume that's part of the latch mechanism. The game is being super vague again. I can't even back out and save. Well, dang it. Like, I could take a wild guess and maybe it's this. That's just a fucking guess right now, because I don't know if that's the latch or that's something else. Guys, I really don't see anything else that's out of place. Is there a mark on the bench? I can't really see anything on the bench. That would be weird.
Got it!
Nope! It's not that. I have no idea. I have no idea what it is they want me to do here. Alright, well, we get to see what the guilty thing looks like. I should be a question of final decision of the members of jury. Are you ready, Mr. Foreman? Certainly, my lord. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You announce your findings to the court in turn, please. Guilty.
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 Oh, they all have voices, so I don't know why I'm doing that. I hereby find the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, guilty. I thank the good ladies and gentlemen of the jury for their swift and insightful contemplation. That is all. This court is adjourned. Alright, let's, start of current scene. Okay, where does that take me? Because seriously, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be looking for here. I don't see anything that... I don't see any mark anywhere. Like, what the hell are they talking about? I have looked all over this thing, and I don't see anything out of the ordinary. When the windows look the same, yeah. There's nothing on the door I can smell. Like, I don't see anything else on the roof. I really have no fucking idea what they want me to do here. I am so stumped. I'm completely stumped right now. See, and I'm trapped in this. I can't get out of this. I can't get out of this. I may have to actually look this up. Because I have no fucking clue what they want. I have no clue what mark they're talking about. I don't see any mark. I don't see anything. Cushions look the same. I don't see anything wrong with the cushions. The windows look fine, the door looks fine, the posters are fine, the roof is fine. The lamp looks the same as it was before, the floor looks the same. The bloodstain is the same. It's obviously not the skylight. And I can't really see the bench through here too well, so it can't be that. Alright, I give up. I'm gonna have to look this one up. Because I have no fucking idea what this is, what the game wants me to do here. Alright, I'm looking it up. I'm not doing the auto mode. I'm not gonna do that. Omnibus mark. What the fuck? Omnibus mark. What the hell are they talking about here? No, the other problem is there probably aren't a lot of good guides for this game because it's still kind of relatively newish, I guess. Okay, so... Okay, well the guide I'm looking at is kind of vague, but... So we've already presented the omnibus, we've opened the skylight, we presented the blood on the skylight. Then we need to select the blood... Wait. Select the second option and select the second option again? What? Present the blood on the floor? Wait, was the blood on the floor not there before? I thought it was. But it's kind of hard for me to... Was it this? That's blood, isn't it? Is there something wrong? Oh, it's just... Well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. Yet Van Zeek's made no mention of it. It does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Okay, so it must be this. Okay, I could have swore that was there before, but then again, I can't remember the two carriage clearly from yesterday, but I thought that was there. But it was just, it's one of those things where it's like kind of like underneath the UI, where I wasn't really sure if it was there or not. But I presumed it was there before. maybe it wasn't there. The game totally got me on that one. If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where she landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as an advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone. I feel compelled to admit that there is at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Wait. White out. Ah. This trial is over. Mr. McGilded, I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but this is all over now. But you're the defendant. It is over, I tell ye. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, it is all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there, now. Well, and over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so am I. I thought better of Lord Van Zeeks. Well, my lord. This is not going the way I thought it would. I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. In the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my education. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes. Which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defense believes... with the way, Mr. McGilded acted there, it kinda came off that he was guilty. Or it sounds like he is trying to cover up what's going on. So I'm not sure if I should say he's guilty or not. Um... I mean, let's think about this. Would there really have been any practical reason for him to arrange all of this to kill this guy? And to have the pickpocket girl collaborate his story? I mean, she would have to have been in on it. At least I think to some extent. Because they would have had to have planned this, like, way in advance. For the possibility, the chance that she would get the opportunity to tamper with the carriage. But that's kind of a long shot. Which could have easily not even happened if things had gone differently. But there is a possibility he could be guilty. Now let's assume, is there a possibility he could be innocent? Well, yes, there's probably still a possibility of that. But if the evidence is completely tampered with and ruined, that kind of... But doesn't really leave a lot of good options to prove his innocence if the evidence has been... I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. The carriage has been tampered with, we've already established that, it's been proven. Just on those grounds alone, the omnibus should be thrown out of evidence at this point. So presuming that is just thrown out of evidence, what are we left with? We're just left with testimony, basically. And the testimony isn't enough to decide whether he is innocent or guilty. I don't know. This is really a tough call here. But the game must go on, and I'm over my 3-hour limit here, so I need to wrap this up. So let's just be a defense lawyer, and let's just say our client is innocent until we absolutely know for sure that they are guilty. Let's just go with the old adage: presume innocence, prove guilt. And right now, we're not entirely certain if guilt has been proven. So let's just go with that. As Mr. McGilded's legal representative, I can't breathe. The air in here is stifling. But I'm this man's defense lawyer. There's only one thing I can say in this situation. I believe the defendant, Magnus McGilded, to be innocent of the allegations brought against him. Thank you, counsel. Took you a while to decide that. Here's to you, my Nipponese friend, and the most abject closing I have yet to hear in a court of law. Order! Order! It was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer. So it was a grand decision. You saved one of London's most influential gentlemen, fella. You should be proud of yourself. Here, have this for you. Any troubles? You threw it in my eye. Ouch. Why'd you do that, man? Ah. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? Says just as the right honorable gentleman so touchingly put it for. The trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Not more than a formality. He really does make himself sound like he's the guilty party here. I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we'd seen genuine? Or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinky mush were always guilty of something. You should mark my words. Dang it. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park. Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby announce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. That is true, we really don't know yet. Lord Van Zieks. My lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed. Plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait. When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zieks ordered the evidence to be secured. He did. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. That's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zieks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fellow, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGillard. Gilded. Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to, then. I hereby pronounce for defendant Mr. Magnus McGilded not guilty. In quotes. In quotes, we assume he is not guilty. We got fireworks in here. I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end. With the defendant being found not guilty, obstinately, a victory for us. That certainly was a long trial. Ah, yes it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Mr. Zato, thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGill did. Ah, and that girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks we do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And have you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. I don't know if you're sane, fella. How did I walk out there a free man then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. That's just water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilder, on having your name cleared. But nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abscondent deed. It's as grand as it not. I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand, sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I've absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. You might as well take it. I mean, you don't have any money here. Oh, that'd be welst. You're humble people, you are. You from the East. Well, if you insist, I'll throw this coin in your eye. Ouch, like you did before. Stop throwing coins in my eyes. But at this, still no. You deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilhead. Everything is ready, sir. Would you like to follow me into the courtroom? Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? It's sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There are some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. This time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again. Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. As an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, very well. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you. Hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Now don't fire that in here. Don't you do it. Don't move. Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Better run away in that time. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Yeah, technically, yes, sorry. And I ate all grown-ups. Ah, there you are. Oh, who? Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to a trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Huh. Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Let's not have a gunfight in here. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor. Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment while I was changing into a different omnibus. Whilst I was changing into a different omnibus and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. Which is not a thing in this time, but okay. Tell you, what's it? What? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What's for? To apologize, silly. To my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? No, listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh good, you'll see. I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. Not very sure what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours, or bazooka thing. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. She was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right, but where to? Oh, we haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend the day in search of lodgings. Not this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. And worse comes to worse, I heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night and just camp out in the park at night. Okay. Please tell me you're not thinking of the Gilded Park. I know it'd be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person saw just as easily as an elderly one. Yeah, it does get pretty cold in London in the winter time. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm surrendering. We are turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room or mansion. Yeah, that's why I said take the frickin' money, because you don't have any money here, Ryunosuke. What are you gonna live on? And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over. We at the end? Oh, we get a cutscene.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick!
Oh, the carriage is burning down.
How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating.
Wait, there's someone in there?
No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
Oh, the flames of justice are very hot today.
This can't be.
I wonder how we're going to deal with an arson victim. Their body's going to be burned to a crisp. You're not going to be able to ID them. The Realm of the Reaper. Okay. Yeah, we're saving. Alright, that's definitely it for tonight. I'm at 3.5 hours. I've been on this for a while. The Adventures of the Clouded Kokoro. It will be up next, and I will do that next week. It's late. I'm going to stop here and not... It was a pretty interesting case, I will give it that much. So I'm kind of... I do find it interesting that they kind of left the end of this case very ambiguous. Like, we really didn't get the full truth of what happened. And I'm not really certain if Gilded is really innocent or not. He kind of acts like he's a criminal who just got off at the end, which I'm not sure I really like that. I'm like, okay. So I don't know, but I'm guessing we will probably get the answers later on. So anyway, interesting, but I am enjoying the game. And I had my first game over, my first technical game over. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching, and I will continue this next week. Have a good night. Bye-bye.